Okay, so here we have our Mannok Aircrete Thermal Blocks. In this model here, they're shown on the inner leaf of a cavity wall construction. So here we're combining the structural properties of the block along with the thermal properties of the block. One of the key benefits of them in this particular wall construction is at the junctions. So if we go down here, look now at the floor to wall junction. So we've got all our insulation in our cavity, and we've got our floor insulation, and we're spending a lot of money on our cavity and floor insulation. But as we can see here, the insulation layer is broken by this block. And if this wall was built with a traditional dense concrete block, we'd have an awful lot of heat flowing down through that block and escaping to the outside. But by substituting the dense block inner leaf with a Mannok Aircrete Thermal Block, we're providing continuity of insulation across the junction. So this improves the performance by this particular junction by over 10 times. And there's actually 7, 8, 9 typical junctions just like this in any house where the Mannok Aircrete block inner leaf improves the thermal performance of the junction by reducing that cold bridge. What it also does is increases the surface temperature at that location, and that reduces any risk of condensation and mould growth on the walls. So that's in this particular build, that's the key benefits of Aircrete blocks. The other key benefit of block work in general, over and above other forms of construction like timber frame, for example, is fire rating. This particular 100mm wide block has a 2-hour fire resistance. Our other Sims solution has a 215 wide block, and it has 4-hour fire resistance. So we're looking at structural performance, thermal performance and fire performance are the key benefits of the Mannok Aircrete Thermal Blocks. So we've looked at our traditional cavity wall construction with the inner leaf dense block replaced with the Mannok Aircrete block and discussed the benefits of that. The next step forward for that then is Sims by Mannok, which is a super insulated masonry solution. So that's what we're looking at here. So basically, rather than the cavity wall construction, we have a single leaf Mannok Aircrete block. It's 215mm wide, and outside that then we've got an external insulation system, and this would be provided by an approved NSA approved installer. So essentially the waterproof render on the outside of this external insulation system is replacing the outer leaf block work or brickwork. Our block layer is laying the Aircrete blocks. He's doing what he's good at. We're not relying on the block layer to fit the insulation. So the block layer lays these blocks. There's half the amount of blocks than there is in traditional wall construction, so he's going to build them twice as quick. When he has that built then, the roofer puts on the roof and the windows are installed, and the house, the inside finishes can first fixing can take place then, and then the specialist contractor comes along and fits the external insulation on the outside. Externally insulating a building is probably the best way to insulate it. You're essentially wrapping your structure in high performance insulation, and that gives it overcomes all your thermal bridges by default, and as well as that you can install or apply whatever thickness of insulation you want on the outside to give as low or as good a U value as you want. Here we're looking at a 215 Mannok Aircrete block with 150mm of Mannok EPS insulation, and that's getting you a U value in around 0.17. If you increase the thickness of this up to 180mm, our U value is down to 0.15, which is passive house standard, and we can go further then and increase the thickness to say 200mm, and that gets you a U value of 0.13, which really does future-proof your home. The detail of the window here is very important. This is a passive sill, so it's high density polystyrene insulation with a resin on it, and simply once your window is installed, and it's overhanging the block slightly with a drip on it. Your passive sill sits nicely up behind that and weatherproofs the detail. An alternative then to the passive sill, you can use an aluminium sill as well, which is a very good option. So overall, a very, very good solution, very good way to build a masonry wall. And as I say, it's the next step on from the traditional cavity wall with Aircrete on the inner leaf.